guys, I'm with another video. So, this is my third take, cause my second time doing this video took long. So, let's get on with the charm reviews. So, we all knew that this episode was gonna be about Helen and her Dark Lighter, and then about Macy, cause in the promo we saw that Macy went to Abigail to strip her powers, but we won't see that until down the episode. So, in the first part of the episode, we see that Dark Helen is gonna get her medications, and then something happened to the point where she's left alone in her room while her door is creaking to close. She grabs it before it closes, and of course, we don't know what her intention is until down the episode. So we see Mel, Macy, and Maggie trying to get the power of 3 back, but then with the electricity that was going from Mel to Maggie, it was supposed to go in Macy, but then it fizzled out, and of course Macy's it's me and stuff, because Mel's what happened and whatnot. So after that, we see Harry at Abigail's place, and they're having dinner, and Abigail makes his favorite food, or yes, his favorite food, and she goes behind Harry, and of course puts her hand on his shoulders, and Harry already knew what was gonna happen, and Harry's like, I'm only here for dinner, I'm here to check on you. And before he got up the chair, Abigail kissed him on the neck, and then Harry got up, and he's like, I'm here to check on you, that's all, and you're half demon, and she's like, half demon, and she's like, it's not sexually transmitted. Of course, she really wants to get in bed with Harry. She's making it too fast and stuff, to the point where she shouldn't, she never knew, or she noticed that Harry's not really fully letting himself go with her. And before they could kiss and stuff, he gets a call from the Tulip Institute, and he hears Helen's voice, and then something happened to the point where the phone hanged up, and he's like, I'm sorry, I have to go, and he orders out of her apartment, and Abigail takes the fire off the candles and burn his food because she was so angry. And we see the three, Mel, Macy, and Maggie, talking about what happened and stuff, and the disembowelment and something. And Macy had a clue and stuff, and she's like, I have something, and she ran out or walked out, and those two were surprised. But that was before Mel went to the table after talking to the bartender. And then we see Harry at the institute. He finds out, he sees what happened with the nurse and with the guy that's supposedly probably Nadia's group dead, and then saw that Dark Helen's room was empty, and then Eleanor Light Helen came in the room and probably scared the crap out of Harry, and then Harry asked Helen if she's okay. She nodded yes, and asked if Helen, her Dark Lighter, killed them. She said yes, and asked where Dark Helen was, and then we see Dark Helen walking in the sorry, my nose is itchy, and I'm not picking my nose, I'm just scratching my nose. We see Dark Helen walking in the road, and one of the civilians, or I'm just gonna call them that, driving, and he saw Dark Helen, and he swerved a little bit to the left, I should say. And I said, you shouldn't be walking in the middle of the road like that. And he's like, do you have someone that I could call, or do you know somewhere I could take you? And of course, she creepily goes to his window. He's probably shocked. And then we see Mel and Maggie walking down the stairs in the command center talk about how Macy keeps doing that, and Mel's like, she's probably doing it for her own good, but sometimes she shouldn't go out alone. And you see Harry comforting Helen, and they're like, Harry, what happened or something? And Harry introduced them and said something happened at the Institute, and talking about her dark lighter. And of course, Maggie suggested to Harry, what if she did like the vision and stuff, and Harry's like, this is Maggie, and of course, her powers, she's, and of course, Helen knew Richard, and so, Helen's like, okay, and she lets Maggie hold her hand, and they talk, she holds her hand, and she gets a vision of Dark Helen, like, in the street corner and stuff, and she noticed the street names, and she gets out of the vision. Harry or Mel's like, what did you see? And she's like, I saw a street sign with older men or something, and Mel searches this up and tells them that it's in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I think it's Massachusetts. And so Maggie's like, we can't leave her alone. Mel's like, I'll stay here, keep her company and stuff. And Harry's like doing that searching on the grid and stuff, and said, Maggie, you're with me and stuff. And of course, Mel's with Helen while Maggie and Harry was in front of the portal, and she's like, what happens if we face Dark Helen? And Harry's like, whatever happens that we need to do and stuff, and they leave. And then we see Macy going to Abigail's place, and of course she's like, can we talk alone and stuff? And Abigail tells her man to leave. They head to the dining room / living room. Macy noticed that she had company. She's like, and Abigail's like, Harry was here, and she's like, Harry was here. And of course Abigail thought that she was there for Harry, but then Abigail's like, Harry's we're not here to talk about Harry and stuff, because they got more into talking about Harry. So they talk about stripping her powers. They go back to the elevator, and Abigail did her. And Abigail did her spell to bring up a visible elevator button, and we see that it says SD, and of course Macy as was SD or SB, and she's like subterranean level, and the elevator goes down slowly and then it goes down fast, and Macy's like, what's happening or something, and Abigail's like, it's like what I said, something like that. And she wakes up, and then Macy's like, why are we here and stuff? And then Macy's like, we need someone who knows how to do it and stuff. And of course they see she sees Parker, and then she's like, and then Macy's like, I thought you killed him. And then she's like, I did a homing device where we brought him there to the cage, and we healed him up, patched him up and stuff, and whatnot. And then we see Harry, Maggie, and Mel talk to. No. We see Maggie and Harry at Plymouth, but they were at the sign that Maggie saw in her vision, and she noticed it. And then they noticed something happened at the convenience store that was like already near them, and they go check it. And while they go do them, they seen that Helen killed someone because of the blood on the sign, and then they looked around, and then they saw a dead body with a knife, and of course they knew something happened. And then we see Mel and Helen at the command center talking about her old life, how she was married off at 16 to someone who was 40, and she had her actual true love. She wasn't in love with the guy she married. And then Mel asked, because they read the letters from Daniel, her true love, and Mel asked Helen if Daniel was her husband. Helen gives her her wedding certificate or something like that, and she noticed that it was someone else, and she found out that Helen was 16 and the guy was 40, and that she was married off and she didn't have a choice. And she says sorry, and then Maggie calls and asked if Helen told her anything that would help them find Dark Helen. And Helen saw a picture of Daniel and said Daniel, and Mel's like, maybe I have something or whatever. And we see Maggie and Harry go to the cemetery and found out that Helen's true love was buried there, and Harry opened the gate, and then we see Dark Helen there, and of course she looked like a zombie when I saw her. And then finally we go back to where Macy and Abigail were in the cemetery, whatever level, talking to Parker, and Abigail asked Parker where was the knife that he used to strip her powers. He's like, I'd rather die before I help you. And she's like telling her men to prepare to kill Parker, and then they walk away, but Abigail walks away, and then we see Macy following her saying, are you really gonna kill your brother? Are you really gonna kill him and stuff and whatnot? And Abigail's like, do you think I'm an amateur? I'm gonna ask him and something like that before I kill him and stuff. And they get into the topic of sisterhood and womanhood. And then finally Macy's like, let me talk to him alone, and I'll ask him or get him to tell me where the knife is. Abigail agreed to it, and she stayed where she was while Macy goes back to Parker. And of course, Parker talks about her working with Abigail and stuff. And then Macy talks about that she's ready to move on and stuff, and I know you love Maggie, do it for her. And of course, Parker's like, I don't want her to move on and stuff, and he's like, I'll tell you where the knife is if you give me something in return. And he's like, can you give Maggie this letter? I want her to know that I'm alive and stuff. And so Macy did help him on that part, and so they finally got the knife. And then got the location where the knife was. But then we see back with Maggie and Harry in the cemetery. They were searching a tombstone for Daniel's name. And of course, Harry had to like squat in front of this tombstone with Hawthorne or something on it. And Maggie kind of flashed her flashlight on his neck and saw Red Devil or something, and talked about the lipstick. They get into that subject and stuff. And then finally, Harry found Daniel's tombstone. They stand there. She gets a vision. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. Oh my god. And she gets a vision. She sees that that Dark Helen is gonna jump Harry. She's like, Harry, watch out. And Helen jumps up in front of Maggie, almost about to kill her. But then Harry got there in time and took her and hold her. And she's like, he's like, Maggie, grab the knife and do it. And Maggie's like, no, we don't have to and stuff. I can reach her. And of course, Dark got off his grip and was about to kill her, but she's like, I know about Daniel, I know about your love, and she stopped and she gasped. And then Harry was about to hit her with like the branch or something, but then Maggie stopped him, and then she appeased or hoped that's the word for it to her about it, because she felt the same way about, I think it was about Parker and stuff. And so they try to talk to her, and then they convince her to give them the knife. And then they go back to command center, but we don't see them until later on, because we see Abigail holding the knife, and Macy asked if it would work, and then she's like, let's see. And so they do that, and of course it did work, but then Macy left because she got a text from Maggie saying something, they have a situation calling the command center. And then Maggie said that we had to contain her for her safety and stuff and whatnot, and Helen asked to merge with her Darklighter. Harry's like, Helen, that merging has never been done before, it's dangerous. And of course Maggie and Mel said that she didn't have a choice and stuff, and she should have that choice, and Harry pleased to it and stuff. So Maggie did a spell to uncontain Dark Hallie, and they hugged. And of course Macy goes to the Book of Elders, try to see if she could touch it to see if it works. Mel's like, no, you know you can't touch it and whatnot, and because she knew what was gonna happen, but then it worked. She then flew across the room. When she was in the process of opening the book, Dark Helen's like elders, and she was about to go kill Macy the way Helen kind of did when Harry mentioned elders the first time, and when Mel was trying to save Macy, Dark Helen pushed her away, and before she can fall on the floor, Maggie caught her, but then they both fell on the floor. But then Helen took the knife and stabbed her. Maggie asked Harry to heal her. He tried, and he said it's self-inflicted, he can't heal her, and he asked Helen why, and she's like, my choice, and they merge, and then she vanished in like thin air, but she was like at peace at it. And then we see them out of the command center sitting together, and then Maggie's like, I can't believe you went to Abigail for help and stuff. And she's like, Abigail did it for Harry, and Harry's like, she did? And then he's like, why did you do it? I guess he probably wanted to know if she did it for him or for some other reason. And so she explained that other reason. She's like, I did it for the Power 3. My demon powers was probably clouding or whatever her witch powers, and she needed light in her powers. And of course Maggie talks about Parker and moving on, and then Mel's talking about how she's grateful that that the women are in the new era age and stuff, about where they're able to be with someone who they love, be with who they love and stuff, and she's like, we can't disregard or take it for granted for Helen. And of course Harry looks at Macy looked at Harry, and of course when Harry looked away, Macy looked again, and Mel went to the bartender to talk about the date or what the bartender gave her, and Maggie was like, that's the first time I see Mel smile like that. And then she gets a text from Jordan, and Macy's like, Jordan, and of course Maggie faced the other direction to text Jordan, and Macy takes out the letter that Parker gave her, and she was debating whether or not to give her. She chose not to give her, and Harry saw the note that Macy took out, but then he sees Macy put it back in her pocket, and then finally we see them back in the command center. Well, at least Macy, and then we see Macy try to probably telekinesis or do whatever kind of power to the feather that she put on the book. Then she got agitated, hopefully that's the word, and she screamed, and of course Harry probably like runs down the hall or the stairs and said what happened. They talk about it, and Harry's like, we'll figure this out together, it's not too late yet, and Macy's like, it's not too late, and of course she's daydreaming at this point, and she daydreams her kissing Harry, and of course at that point Harry's like probably, Harry and her daydream's probably happy that they kissed, and of course we take what we get, even if it's a daydream kiss, that's all we asked for. We'll probably not see the real kiss probably before the end of the season. We'll see it, or probably at the end of the season, we don't know yet. We won't know until we see the promo for it or when the episode comes out. And so she hears more of Harry's voice, and she gets out of her daydream, and she realized it was a daydream because she was wondering, did that happen and stuff in her head. And of course Harry goes to the other side of the command center, and then we see Abigail talking to Parker and whatnot, and they get into it about whatever. And then finally we see Parker asking Abigail what's her endgame. She's like, wouldn't you like to know? And of course at that point we all know she's probably not going to tell Parker at this point, considering that they hate each other. So yeah, when I took of that episode, it was like really amazing and stuff, and it's not that shocking of Abigail's attentions anymore. Like literally she makes it more obvious than it's supposed to be. And but then we did see that Helen couldn't kill her Dark Lighter, as well as her Dark Lighter couldn't kill her White Lighter, and so they realized that Harry's Dark Lighter is still alive. So apparently, hopefully we get to see it when his Dark Lighter is coming back in the show. Hopefully we don't know what's gonna happen until that episode comes out. I'm curious to find out what's gonna happen when that happens, and curious what's gonna happen between Julian and Macy, and then Maggie and Jordan, and then Parker, and then Mel with whoever and whatever, and then with Harry and Macy, and then Harry and Abigail. Honestly, I'm curious about whatever stories they have in store with every character in there. So yeah, that's it for the video. I hope you guys love it as much as I love filming it. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tap the notification bell to always be notified when the weekly videos are coming out, because they will be coming out. And of course, Supergirl Part 2, Supergirl Back to the Future Part 2 episode is coming tomorrow, so look out for that review on Monday, because when it comes out tomorrow, which is Sunday, I wouldn't be able to watch it till the next day. So make sure to look out for it next week, Monday, when I upload the video. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.